Hey mom, today was another normal Saturday in Chiang Mai. I practiced yoga, did some laundry, went to the gym. But lately, I've come to understand that these kind of days are the ones that are quietly shaping me. There's something disorienting about realizing you're no longer the person you thought you were. Not because of some big cinematic shift, but because the identity you once clung to has started to loosen its grip. The titles, the ambitions, the image, they all begin to feel like clothing that doesn't just quite fit anymore. And at first, that feels like kind of a loss. But lately, I've come to see it more as a quiet return. For most of my life, I thought of identity as something to build, like a structure you carefully construct over time. You pick a direction, create a plan, and then follow it. The plan becomes the map, and the map becomes the measure of whether or not you're doing life right. For years, I was committed to that map, not because it always felt right, but because it gave me something to hold on to, a sense of control, a story to tell. But then I left. I stepped outside of the plan. I moved across the world. I traded the predictable for the unfamiliar. And somewhere in the space between losing the map and learning to just live, the idea of a life plan just stopped making sense to me. What started to make more sense and feel more honest was thinking in chapters. Chapters don't ask for permanence. They don't demand that you stay the same. They make room for uncertainty. They give you permission to evolve. And that's been the biggest shift for me, realizing that I don't need to build one consistent version of myself that lasts forever. I can let go of identities that no longer serve me. I can shed pieces of ego that were built for someone I no longer am. I can live this chapter as it is without needing it to explain the next one. When you stop seeing identity as something to protect and start seeing it as something to explore, you soften. You loosen your grip. You realize that much of what you thought was you was just ego trying to prove something. To others, to yourself, to the imagined future you were building toward. But when that imagined future fades, and when the plan dissolves, what's left is presence. And in that presence, you start to meet yourself again. Not the curated or productive version, but the quiet one underneath. The one who doesn't need a title to feel worthy. The one who's learning that solitude isn't emptiness, it's clarity. This chapter of my life is about that meeting, about witnessing the slow undoing of identities that were shaped by expectation, about finding peace in the ambiguity of not knowing exactly who I'm becoming, and realizing that this too is part of the becoming. The ego still whispers. It still wants to control the narrative, but it doesn't drive anymore. Not in this chapter. Because I'm not here to perform a life plan. I'm here to live life, one chapter at a time. I played some pool and that was it for my day. Okay, love you. Bye.